Welcome to the Valence Developer Diaries number 43. And we're going to cover a few items, two which are for the grid, about change. If you have the grid paging, allowing the user to change the page size, searching on the grid, where to place that search in your data source, SQL-based data source. And a new item also, which is function keys to fire events within the app. So let me just go here. All right. So right now we just have this base app has a data source. Let's show the data source. We have this data source and we have this with, and here you can see we're making sure that country is not blank, and we have this VVN virtual and it's called search customers. Um, that will be referenced when we do the searching. So I'll do that first since I'm talking about it. So here's my grid. I'm going to go here and I want to make sure I turn search on, and I'm going to say
And
country.
Jenny, while you're doing that, I'm just going to point something out. So typically, like all the time up till now, anytime you activate a search on the grid, that search is appended to the end of your statement, to the end where clause. That's how it's just always worked.
Right. It would be appended right here. If you can see my cursor, it would just automatically append a where clause to it. Correct. We want to append the where, we want to adjust the where clause of here when they're doing the searching. Okay, let me go into my app. And do I have okay, search customer? I do already have an app variable. So we need that app variable for the VVM virtual. And if we go to link widget properties and in general, there is going to be a search clause. And this is where you'd say, you're telling the app that I'll handle where to place that search clause and via an app variable. So I'm going to say search customers. I'm just going to hit
So
save. Go ahead,
so
Sean.
because you just linked that app variable, um, when they type in search, it's going to know to just say, "Hey, don't try and append it to the end." It's just a regular old app variable at this point, and the SQL statement's going to see that and replace whatever's in there.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And I'm gonna hit save. Okay, let me just launch this. Let me check out version. I'm gonna bring up dev tools. So let's SQL. Just shrink this a little bit. Okay. Okay. And I was expecting that and I wanted to show this. So the columns, we have reference, so it's M cusno, M CNAME. However, here it would be C cusno, C CNAME, right? So to handle that, if the columns are different, named differently, could be a completely different name or just reference name or alias, I should say. Um, we have another item or link to the widget, search clause. Since we have this turned on, in essence, we have this new section of search clause. So when we are creating the clause using the MC name or M cusno, we can say, I want you to do something different. I'm just going to directly type in here. I'm going to do c.cname and c.custom. Oops.
And in case anyone's wondering, like, well, what is this M not like? Why do I have why do I have two entries in here? It's based on the number of columns that you are searching in your grid. Because
Yes.
really behind the scenes, like we take it for granted, but that search, anytime you type anything in that search, what we do is we spin through every column, and depending on the type, if it's a numeric or whatever, a graphic field, and we do enter that search clause and CNAME this and cuss no equal to this and field XYZ equal to and so forth.
You could see, and what Sean's referencing, you could see this was our app variable, or is our app variable to search customers. Here's the clause that it added to it because I typed in CNX. However, it was using the column of m.cname, which was invalid. So let me just save this, get out of here. And
And obviously, this is kind of a rare use case.
right,
We came into this where someone within their with clause needed to apply the filtering instead of to the end of the statement. So, it's not something that like you're just going to start using all the time. It's just on a as needed basis.
right. It's kind of similar to when we introduced the filters based off of if you have VBN virtual, if you remember that. Like if we have VBN virtuals, then it would be listed in the filter section. So you could filter by by that, and that VBN virtual could be anywhere in the statement, not the main where. That was kind of the reason for it. So X. Now you can see that it used c.cname, and let's just take a look at that so you can see the SQL. So here, the search clause was not on the base select. It was injected in our with for filter customers. And that's the only configs that you need to do for
Can you show the data
moving the
source
search.
again?
Oh, excuse me. Hello?
Hello. Can you show the data source again? Hello, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, so you just added the VVN virtual, no conditions to it. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a normal VBN virtual with your app variable. You're just telling at
Okay, yeah,
runtime that whatever clause we're going to create that we normally always create and append to the main where you're going to like you want to handle it yourself with a VBN virtual. Do not
Yeah.
apply it to the main where clause.
So the main thing we're doing here is we're making use of the built-in functionality of the search that it builds out that string, and we didn't want to have to do that on our own for that search customers app variable. And this just allows you to, move that where that built-in grid filter anywhere within your statement.
okay.
Right. Okay, since we're on the grid, let's go to um, paging. So this is our, this was our default standard paging if you had paging going on. And you can always pick a page size, default page size. However, now if you select page size selection, what will happen is, and you can see it here too, at runtime, then the user could choose to change the page size. So my default was 25. And hold on, this Zoom hovering on me. And let's say we'll make it 50. So the user can just switch if they want. So this makes sense if you want to give that ability and if, based on this statement, if it can handle more, sometimes like I only want to give 100. I don't want to, I can't give any more, but so that's a new option that's given. Then let's go to the function keys. So what I'm going to do is I have an app variable of reload customer list. So I'm going to set that here and refresh reload customer list. So anytime that's set to true, the list should reload. And if we go to behaviors and event listeners, I'm going to add an event listener. Okay. Looks the exact same. The only difference is now we have this checkbox of show function keys. So you can choose 1 to 24. Remember some OSs or the browser, the OS itself might listen to function keys a certain way. So you have to remember that. But So what we'll do is we'll demonstrate like F5 to refresh the list. So I'm just going to click the NAB F5. So now it's added that event up there. And now we can do whatever we do normally for events. And I'm just going to simply set an at variable, which is my reload, to true. Okay, save. And let's reload this thing real quick. So here I am, and yeah, I'm hitting F5. I mean, you can kind of see
Yeah,
chart.
you could see it refreshing.
Okay. So that's just an option if you had a need to, you know,
Hey,
do
Johnny.
perform actions or behaviors on a function key press.
Hey,
Go ahead,
Johnny.
Ron.
Can
Oh,
you, how do you deal with the normal browser-based function keys like F12 and F3?
well, if it's just browser, we would suspend the event. So we should handle that. It would be if it's OS related, like, on the Mac, I have some things that like F11's mapped to like show all windows on the OS. So that would just happen. So I couldn't you can't prevent that.
But so how do you deal specifically like with F12, which is show source in a browser, when I want to use F12 as cancel?
I mean, I'm just cutting in here. I would say we added this. I don't think by any means we're encouraging using this as a, because it feels kind of like a step backwards of going like, all right, well now F3 is going to close an application and that sort of thing. But uh, I don't know. But as Johnny said, I don't. We attempt to override the key function, right?
Right. Well, yeah,
So,
we can't override the OS key function. I couldn't.
at the browser level.
Yeah, we should be able to get around that. Like, yeah, we've added it. I mean, there's some things we might not be able to get around. We could do maybe more research to see, but I mean,
Okay.
As of right
Just
now,
Yeah, just what to let you know, I did find a open source script that allows me to intercept those, and so I've already got that functionality. It's open, and we could just have it if it was built in, or it would be better. But um,
yeah, we can
this
always
open source
adjust what we
script does
have.
does work.
It was the big step was just getting it baked into here, right? That was the
Right.
hurdle for us. Adjusting how we're handling the listening and firing is not a hard task at all. So this is our first pass.
so as you guys use it, we'll look for feedback. And
So yeah, I think we covered everything. So page size, adjusting the search clause to put it anywhere within your SQL statement and the function keys. All right. Sean, did I miss anything?
I don't think so. Any other questions?
Yes, one thing related to search again. Uh, so you put that in search clause, you put the C dot field names against the uh two fields. So can we disable some of the fields from the search criteria? Like maybe I have 10 fields and I want the search to be on specific fields only. So can I do that so from there?
No. Yeah, no, you can't do that right now. We can put a feature request in to see if we can adjust it where, you know, it would make more sense. I personally think that from here,
Yeah, include in
like
search.
a default is searchable, but then you can uncheck it and it would never apply that column on the search.
Yeah, that would be nice because we have some fields like descriptions or remarks and notes that we don't want search applied to it. So that's the reason we are not going with the uh, common search and we are always have to go with the field level search. So if we can have the feature of removing some of those fields from the search option, then it would be nice.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, we can just default it here.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And any other questions?
No,
Uh,
that's it. Yeah.
I have one real quick. On the page size selection, I noticed when I've been using it, a lot of times it cuts it off so that you can't actually see the number. You'll only see one digit of
Oh,
100.
is your wondering if your
I wonder if it's
Zoom
something when we added this, I wonder, are you using a different
UI maybe?
UI? Because maybe we didn't accommodate for that. Are you using a different UI?
Yes, yes.
Which UI are you using?
Uh, the the dark blue, this third row down.
I'm talking about up here, the
Oh yeah,
default
it's the slim view. I'm sorry.
slim. Okay.
It's like instead of seeing 25, you'll only see the five or
Okay.
part of it.
Hmm.
What if you go to ultra slim, Johnny? Maybe
Uh,
I
I mean,
don't.
that might have been, are you on the latest that's currently out that we're talking about? Because that might have been an item that was fixed and I just don't remember it, but
Uh,
And then is your zoom on your browser adjusted?
ultra slim. Save. See, is it broken? No, 500. And this is the, yeah, 516 build. Maybe that was out there and we actually fixed. I just don't remember if we did or not.
okay.
Yeah, but I would say if you're on this and you're still having that issue, if you could reach out to support because I'd love to know or see what's going on.
And then
Okay.
check the zoom on your browser too. If your zoom is changed, that can affect it.
It was at 100%.
Okay, that's
Oh,
good.
then you're fine.
But it was like I say, you only see just a part of the number. Like where you see 500, I'd only see a zero.
Hmm.
So do you think you're on this build for 6.3 or no?
Let's see. Settings. I am on 6.3.2025.0325.1.
Okay,
Okay.
so maybe that has been if you update to the latest, which is publicly out there right now, which we're going over.
Okay.
If that handles it, if it doesn't, Bruce, though, please reach out because I mean, we're not seeing that, so that would be concerning.
Okay. I will check that this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
One thing to add in this, hello.
Yes.
One thing, yeah. Sometimes, the laptop resolution itself is on 150. So even we see our browser zoom at 100, it's actually at 150. So, it's the standards. Most of the laptop right now have the resolution of 150%. That maybe if you try zoom and zooming right now, it should be similar. If you try zooming in your browser, Johnny, uh,
Yeah.
to
Okay. Similar to what? Like
just do any zoom, maybe make it 150 or 125, any.
well, we don't. Okay. We don't encourage or support that Zoom, but is this what you mean?
Yeah. Okay. So no, you understand what I mean. You're right. So the laptops uh come with a default resolution of 150. The Dell laptops, most of them, uh, so use we have to personally go in and change the resolution to 100. Okay, we as a developer we do, but the end users, they mostly they uh do not go in and change the resolution. Yeah, I can see that if it's showing on 150, I don't think that's the issue. But
Yeah, I'm still not replicating
Yeah,
the Zoom. I don't know why.
and we
It might have just been a bug that something that
yeah.
we noticed and we fixed. And, I mean, since it was added, I just don't remember doing that. But yeah, Bruce, if you get to the latest and you still have the issue, please let us know. All right. Anybody else have any other questions or anything?
Nothing in the chat. Nothing.
Nothing in the chat? Okay. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining, and everybody have a good rest of your day.